the unknown and the knowledge. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think there's really enough data to know, you know what I mean, if you're going to survive.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pharaohs Club Podcast has gotten back together to do what we do, and that's talk about current events, talk about life, talk about things that's happening in our life. And unfortunately, we have found ourselves not only in a pandemic, but in a full-out onslaught of civil unrest and a possible racial war. And that's where we're coming from right now today. Heavy hearts, sad, angry, confused, vulnerable, all of those emotions that you can think of that everybody has been feeling for the last week since the life of George Floyd was assassinated in broad daylight by a police officer, police officers, 4 exactly, standing all around. We've all at this point have seen the video, and Pharaohs Club Podcast is going to sit down and talk about the emotions, the feelings, and things that have gone on with us in the last week up to this point. And I want to start, go ahead and dive right into it because there's no easy way to do it. We all saw that video on Monday when George Floyd's life was being taken from him. And I want to start just by going around to ask you guys to give me the emotion of how you felt by watching this video and what you saw in the video, how it made you feel, the things that you have been dealing with just specifically with the video as of Monday. I would like to kind of just throw that off to Lo to kind of get his thoughts on it. I know that we talked earlier in the week and how kind of jittery and unsettled you were, how we all have been about it. And I just want to see where your thoughts were on the video itself. We'll get into everything that's transpired since the video, but right now we just want to talk about the video specifically. If you can just kind of give me your feelings on that.
Wow. All right. Well, first off, all respects to the Floyd family. I don't know still how to process, everything that happened and transpired with this assassination. Well put with that, mass assassination. The video, when I first watched it the first time, I guess the first 5 minutes or so was like, okay, it'll be fine. Nothing's gonna happen. Then I see a man say I can't breathe several times, then call for his mother. Mama, help me. And it brought me back to, being a boy. Anytime, you get hurt as a child, you seek your mom's refuge. That's just natural because, she's the nurturer. She's one who can save you from anything as a child, for anything wrongdoing, anything bad happening to you. So when I hear a grown-ass man call out for his mama with a white man with a knee in his back, his neck, or wherever it was, it took it out of me. I mean, every emotion, every feeling, my soul, I felt something leaving my body. That's really what it was. I guess the best word I could say was devastation. I mean, I was devastated. I mean, I had to take a pause for the calls. Like, no, this, I'm not really watching this happen. I think I was watching my phone. Like, no, I mean, I just think I threw my phone and just sat there. Because it was a lot of disbelief. It was a lot of like, well, can somebody help this man? It was just like, man. Then he took his last breath, and I saw him wheel him over like on the stretcher, trying to. It's like, what? I mean, it was difficult to process, man. Like, so for me, it was. I mean, it was devastating. It was really. I want to say a part of me. I don't know Mr. Floyd for nothing, but a part of me died that day. Like, I've seen some tragic things in my life, and I'm gonna say a part of me absolutely just died. So that's what it was for me, and I'm not healed yet. I mean, that wound will probably never close, and I think I'm okay with that, because I'm gonna use that wound to medicate for some things I should be doing in the community and in life. So that wound's gonna stay open. So that's what it was for me.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Lo. I also felt that feeling of loss when I saw that. A few things that hit my radar while watching it was when he was almost screeching. It wasn't even like a scream. It was like he was almost screeching. Like the frequency on his voice at the time just sounded like an animal or somebody screaming or screeching for help. And that's the thing that pierced me the most, was like that voice of him almost screeching for help. And then, as you said, a man whose mother had been passed over a year. His mother was already dead. His mother died a year ago. And you have a man who is
2 years ago today.
2 years ago.
To this date right now. This date right now.
Who he's screaming for, who he know ain't even here. Which means that he having an out-of-body experience. Right? At that moment that you're calling for somebody that ain't even alive to come and help you. The one person, like you said, that you think is supposed to come to your aid, he knows that she's not alive. And he's asking for her to come and help him. Right? And in that moment, that is any of us. In that moment, that is any one of us in that situation. Because one, he wasn't resisting. The other thing that really just that punched me in my stomach was the cavalierness of this officer with his hands in his pocket as he's squeezing the life out of this man, pleading and screaming for help. And it's like, why, bruh? Like we are enemy number one. And that's in broad daylight. This is with cameras rolling. This is with people in the street. This ain't no back alley, like lynch him up, nobody, white sheets. This is broad daylight. Screaming and screeching for help from a man who is not resisting. And that could be any one of us. And that for me is like the part that dies. Every time you kill somebody that looked like me, I ain't never been in no privileged position. And so I've been pulled over by the cops. I've had to be handcuffed and pulled out of my car for no reason because of being profiled or whatever. And no, I haven't been physically assaulted, but that could have been me.
Yeah.
That could have been me coming from the club with a couple drinks in me and they pull me over and then tell me to get out the car and throw me down and have their knee in my neck. What's the difference? To me, it was like a modern day lynching. the way his face looked, his hands in his pocket, the dude standing around, nobody even reached for him to tell him, hey, man, I said, no, none of that. And how am I, as a black man, supposed to get that thought out of my head when just a month or so ago in Michigan, when these white people were they're doing their protests downtown, pulling guns, got rifles. I see 3 cops grab a man who has a gun on his hip, and they're talking to him and wrestling with his hands, and he never hits the ground. Baton never comes out. Tasers never come out. And he has a gun on his hip. And he arguing him, cussing at him, throwing his hands around. This man died on the ground without any remorse. And this shit is just explode. I'm exploded inside. I don't even know what to think anymore. Because we've been told that if we do what we're told, if we listen and we do what we're told, then we won't die. If you haven't done anything, there's nothing to be concerned about, right? If you haven't done any wrongdoing, when the police stop you, just give them what they ask for and you'll be fine. But that didn't happen with this. That didn't happen with this. And so now, what am I supposed to think? And what am I supposed to do when I'm found in that position? Do I kill a police officer first? Do I react first? Because I don't know if my life is going to be in danger or not. And now I'm scared as shit. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle myself in that situation. I'm not groveling no more. I'm not trying to make myself less black so that you don't feel threatened. I can't keep doing this shit. It's fucking with my psyche. And so that video right there, that shit was just, it took the wind out of my sails, bruh. Like it took the breath out of me. It was like I died too. It's like he took the breath out of me too. And this shit hurts so bad. I don't know what to do. I can't talk to my kids about it. They too young. They 2 black boys, and I don't know how to even explain this shit away. I don't even want to bring it to them because I don't want them being scarred like I am. I don't want them thinking the way that I think. And so for me, man, it was extremely powerful, man. It just lets you know that, like, you can't help who you're born into, but this skin, dude, has created a fear for people that they're willing to kill us for it. And that shit don't make sense to me. And I can't explain it away. And I got to live with it every day. Trying to be nice to people just so that they're not fearful of me. And this shit is getting exhausting. Sorry, I didn't mean to take all that time up, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll chime in. Hey, man, thank you for your openness, Nash and Low, man. I mean, the big thing I took from it, man, was I was just disappointed, man, to let me know that the system, I had my father in my life, and he survived the first, the 60s riots in Chicago. Martin Luther King got killed, and he would always describe how the nation took a different turn, with humanity and morality, and here we are almost 50 years later, 60 years later, man, and we still dealing with the same bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So, Nas, I already know your emotion, man. I know that shit hurt because you got 2 sons, man, and the black man once again is in danger. We endangered species because I'm just gonna say these tyrants and these devils, man, they feel like we're a threat to what system they've built on our backs. So for me, man, I'm just so disappointed that the system, after all these years of, marching, rioting, and from the Malcolm X movement, the Eye for an Eye, to the peaceful movement of Malcolm X and others, we still in the same fucking boat that we you know, I mean, we just, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit crazy, man. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I mean, when I seen it with my wife, man, I couldn't believe that, you know, the shit was just like occurring like that. I mean, I'm like, this can't be happening again. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, real quick though, talk to me about the video. Let's give me your thoughts on where you were in your mind frame and what the video meant to seeing that.
I mean, the video was tragic. I mean, that shit was terrible. I mean, like, for even for the shit to be just recorded like that, and these forced individuals, police officers that's supposed to uphold the law, knowing this guy's in agony, man, they just didn't have no remorse, and that shit was horrible, man. Like, I don't understand how, you know, the city government of Minnesota, the state of Minnesota, and even Minneapolis ain't charged all four of these guys yet, man. This shit is crazy. Like, that don't even make no fucking sense, man. Like, to show all that agony like that, that was just horrible. That was humane. I mean, I don't care what procedure or policy them guys thought they was following, or they gonna try to justify later on. When you standing on motherfucker's neck, man, for that long, and you know you're gonna kill him, and that guy that was on his neck, his intent was to kill. I don't care what no court of law or what defense lawyer is gonna try to bring out. That nigga was trying to kill him. He ain't even a nigga. I'm sorry. That devil was trying to kill him. That shit is crazy, man. That shit's horrible.
Man, and if I could just pick up on that, because, and I'm glad, when I was looking at the video, I'm sitting here looking at this dude like, all right. First he says, well, the Chinese dude tried to justify it like, oh, well, you should have seen what it was like 10 minutes ago when he was talking to the dude that was, I guess, I don't know if this guy was filming it or he was standing next to the guy that was filming it. He was talking to him and he was like, well, you should have seen him 10 minutes ago. And you could hear the chick in the background like, that was 10 minutes ago though. Like, you still on him. Like, what is right now I'm looking at him like, what is your goal now? He's now not moving. He's handcuffed. So what's next? What did your training teach you to do next, man? Like, what happens? I mean, what's going on? Like, okay, he's down, you know, whatever. Dude, 8 minutes? What, 8 minutes, 46 seconds, if I'm not mistaken? 8 minutes? 8 minutes, man. I did this the other day. I literally put my stopwatch on my phone and let that shit play for 8 minutes, bro. That's a long time. And him like, okay, get up, man. He's down. You got him. Put him in the car, like my man said on the video. Like, get up. And then I'm looking at it like this. It almost, and this is no disrespect to Floyd, but I see all these faces. Like, this shit is happening again. Like, this is deja vu all over again, dog. And I still look back and I just see the other officer just standing there like, dude, all right, man, let's put him in the car. Two of y'all can't get him in the car?
Hey, Jay,
even if he resisting, y'all can't, two men can't handle one man?
Behind the car.
Right. Like, y'all four can't get him in the car? Like, you putting all your weight on him, man. And I mean, you just looking around like, and I so wanted one of them people, and I know this is ignorant, but I so want one of them people to just steal on one of them cops, like, and just bum rush him just to get him off of him.
That ain't ignorant at all.
Just to get him off. Just tackle the cop like, dude, get off of him. Like, what's next, man? You got him now. He you know what I'm saying? And then you notice the cops that came in, they didn't ask no questions. They immediately came and did this number because they already knew, man. You didn't come in and ask questions to the other cop like, okay, what's going on? You immediately went to him because dude was not moving at that point. And thing is, he came over, put his finger on his neck, and like my man in the video said, you still on him. This dude is now dead. And you still got your knee on him. Looking around. Like looking cavalier, like my brother just said. With your hand in your pocket, looking around. And he's gone. We literally seen this man go away. Not by a gunshot wound where you kind of know it, like, ooh, he's down. You seen it slip away, man.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't saying a word. He wasn't saying nothing. All those people watched that. You know, and it's just like all over again. Here we go.
Geno,
I mean, I don't have a lot. That's what it is. It's Geno, like, dude, what's next, man? You were on his neck. Like, what was your plan when you did that? You had to have an end game. That had to be it.
It reminded me, Jay, of cattle went wrangling when they get like a bull or a calf and they on their horse and they get the lasso and they tie and they rope them up, and then when they rope them up, they jump off the horse and the first thing they do is throw their knee right in their fucking neck.
But you know what?
Either decide they're gonna kill them or not.
Right, but you know what, Nas? I've seen bull riding on a slow Sunday between sports. Even after they tie him up, they jump off that animal. They subdue him to tie him up. It ain't in reverse. I'm not going to tie your legs up, then get on your neck. Other words, I'm not going to cuff you, then get on your neck. So,
exactly. Geno, I want to throw it over to you. What were your thoughts?
In all honesty, man, I heard about it before I saw it. So by the time the video came to me, it took me a minute to actually watch it. So, but once I got a chance to watch it, you know, it's funny, you made the bull analogy because I was thinking just that. I was thinking just that. Like, this man is, he never really, if you looked at the video for real, the cop never looked down at him to check in to see where he was at in his face.
Yep.
Like, to see if what he was saying, that he was hearing him say, if that was bullshit, right? Because that could be lie. You could be trying to get somebody off you just to get you off you. But you could check in on somebody and look at their face and see where they are. That man started foaming at the mouth, bro. That man started foaming at the mouth. It's daylight. Like y'all said, man, it was daylight. This man loses his life on the street like an animal. So my first thoughts after I got a chance to watch it was just like, yo, you know, like you said earlier, you know, a lot of my points was already pointed out. It could be me. It could be anybody that I know. It could be anybody I love. My uncle's in law enforcement in Minneapolis. So I immediately checked on him, see how he doing. You know what I'm saying? Just with all these rioting, he might be in his car on his way to the crib. Never know. But I had questions for him. I called him. I was like, yo, what are they teaching y'all up there? Because he my uncle, he don't get off of that shit. He got to answer something. He got to make me understand that was an individual choice or individual choices of those 4 cops to let that man die. You can't tell me this is the training that you guys go through.
Good point, G. Good point, bro.
You know what I mean? You can't tell me that this man, no matter his economic situation, his criminal situation, his faith situation, his race deserves to die like that in front of millions of people. Because here's the thing. By now, these fucking cops understand that these cameras that they're looking at that's being filming at them, they know what's going to happen. Even if he would have got off of him in time, that shit still would have traveled across the world. That shit still would have traveled across the world. So you have no fucking regard of who we are and what we are. So, you know, I cried a little bit. You know what I mean? I was selfish. You know what I mean? Like I said, I worried about my uncle, but then when I got over that shit, I had to call him the next day. Yo, tell me what's up. So after I got through that, man, I just like, you know what I mean? I just got to do something. It just made me want to do something. It made me want to do more. We could talk about, you know, whenever the next questions come out, what that looks like. But I just, you know, and then here's the last point, then I'll move on. You know, like Nas said, you know, I got 2 boys. they just got the alert on their iPads that, you know, it's 6 o'clock curfew in LA. They run in the front room like, hey, daddy, you was gonna go get some food. You might want to stay in the house. I said, why? He said, because they get these Amber Alerts, right? That's what they call it. I said, yeah. I said, why do you think they're sending these out? He said, because of the COVID situation, the COVID-19. I said, oh, okay. You know, I'll have the conversation when it's time, but now is not the time for me and mine. But just to let you know how far, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I walking out, being responsible for my family, my kid, indirectly is trying to make sure that I'm not going out there because that means I can go to jail or I could be pulled over. So.
I appreciate that honesty, G. We're going to bring Dale to bring up the end on this one and finish this particular segment out on the video itself. Dale, how did that video make you feel and where was your mind state in watching that video?
To be honest with you, man, I haven't watched it and I can't watch it. I'm the type of person that if I like give me the details, I know the details from the coverage and everything, and that's enough for me. Because if I see visually, like I'll lose sleep. I'll be walking around here in a rage. I'll take it out on my family, on my kids. You know, like that shit. It does something to me, especially for somebody to die in that fashion. And man, to be honest, you know, you all kind of giving that update that y'all gave. I had no idea, dog. I didn't know that the nigga was calling for his mama. You know, I didn't know he was foaming at the mouth. You know, and all that shit, man. That shit fucking hurts, dog. It does. And I mean, so I don't have any real reactions to it, man. I'm trying to compose myself because, like I said, like that shit, it gets to me, like in a real way. And
you're not the only one that thinks like that, Dale.
You know, but I'm just giving perspective why I didn't watch it, and I won't watch it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was screeching like an animal or any of that stuff, man. And for that very reason, I couldn't watch it, man. So you know, just like the rest of y'all, you know, I just been, you know, following the coverage and you know, just taking it in like that.
And with that being said, since that's happened, since the assassination of George Floyd, and the world has seen it, you know, where things have obviously taken a turn as far as the riots and the protesting, things that have occurred since Monday. The you know, world is on notice. America is, you know, cities are burning. There's looting going on. It's a lot of chaos going on. How do you feel about where things turned after George Floyd's death? How do you feel about how things turned, and do you agree with how things have turned? Let's go into that. And Ameen, if I can jump it over to you real quick to kind of start with that. Since George Floyd's death, all of the riots and protestings, how do you feel about the direction that's gone?
I mean, we living in live chaos. I know that's the number one fact. But moving forward, I mean, we're in search for leadership. I know that we're in search for a voice to either heal us or motivate us or put us in a direction that we can somehow build from the mistake of hate. I'll say that. And I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I don't know where we go from here because again, we tried to reboot it in the 60s. It hit like a virus all through the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. And now the virus then came back. And I ain't talking about Corona. You know what I'm talking about? So again, this is a wake-up call to all leadership. For us, Black leadership, but I mean for humanity globally, all leadership. Where do we go from here? Because obviously the system that we living in, it ain't working. We still have tribalism on both ends of the table, and that video is just another output of how we can't live together, and we can't just show love as a people, man. I mean, it's this hate virus that we got in our genetics is just something that's just going to continue to go until, again, I'm not a very religious person, but I mean, in biblical times, I mean, Jesus was the guy that was on the cross that changed things, right? He was the sacrificial lamb to show us that as a people, we need to the first thing that we need to address, along with social injustice for Black folks and minorities. Those two pots, they uneven, man.
I mean, when you say hate, do you mean hate within us or hate that other people have against us?
I'll say both, because again, on one end, you have generational hate that's being passed down because of what was taught in the past from a tribalism standpoint, and then on the other end, we've been taught to either turn the other cheek or eye for an eye. But when you got those two forces that are coming together, it's still not resolving what the issue is humanity and morality, man. Like Geno talked about earlier. I mean, cops are supposed to have some type of integrity to protect and serve, right? To protect the I mean, I'm not gonna get into the.
Are they though?
Thing.
Are they?
No. You're right. I mean,
is that just the guys that they were built under? Because again, they started out as a gang hunting down slaves.
Correct.
And that's talk about the basis of it. That's where they come from. And
right. I know. No, and that's what I'm saying. The tribalism component from slavery, and I mean, slavery has been going on for shit. We talking about centuries. You see what I'm saying? We went to a school that we were named after one of the key abolitionists that was trying to abolish slavery globally, right? A white man, which is surprising, right? But I mean, even his efforts from back then and until now, still it don't matter. And it doesn't even matter if we're in chains or not. The mentality aspect of what you're talking about, Nas, is a problem. And I don't know how.
I agree with that.
And I don't know how we're going to address it.
Jay, hold on, real quick, man. Before we get into diving into that, I want y'all to talk to me a little bit about what y'all seen since George Floyd's death, with everything that's happened since then. Talk to me about how you feel about the protest and how you feel about the rioting, the looting, and what's been going on as a result of this?
I'm gonna be honest, man, and I mean this probably ain't even gonna sound right. People probably gonna like it, but the marching and the protesting, man, that's not being heard, man. I don't listen. The thing is, for one, you're gonna have ignorance, the looting. If we could have some peaceful protests and some meaningful protests where there's dialogue, then, yeah. But the thing is, that's not going to happen because everybody's not buying in. You got opportunists out there that are looking at this as an opportunity to come up. That devalues and waters down the mission and the goal. That's why we won't be taken seriously, because that's always going to get the headline. You're not going to hear, you hear about, such and such, they said, talk about dude from the Celtics led a peaceful protest down Atlanta. Okay, but that's all you hear. But all I'm seeing is the ignorance and the bullshit and the looting. You know what I'm saying? That takes away from it, And what I'm saying is innocent people getting hurt. People who've broke their backs to get their businesses up and going, and to see their business gone. This white dude got killed, dog. They was throwing bricks on his head, man. All he was doing was trying to protect his business. That's ignorance, man. That ain't got nothing to do with trying to affect change. But people are pushed to the limit, but you got ignorance. And I don't know what to do with the ignorance. And I know I'm all for it because the thing is, man, we wasn't never a part of this American dream. We wasn't never a part of that.
Goddamn right.
That's right.
We was never a part of that, man. That Constitution, that wasn't for us. The blacks that are doing something and have gotten where they are, that wasn't supposed to happen.
We were amended into the Constitution.
Yeah.
We were an afterthought.
And Jay, that's what I was saying. That tribalism, man, everybody gets into their own tribe. They got their own traditions. And in those traditions, we're teaching the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying? And now the tribalism of today is capitalism, socialism. We got so many isms, but it ain't unifying shit. You see what I'm saying? You damn right. The Constitution was supposed to be designed for something, but it wasn't designed for everybody. And that's the fucking problem. I mean, that's just one aspect. You see what I'm saying? And again, I harp on this all the time, man. Passing generational hate, generational racism, passing one disease to the next generation, and you got people out here that's so ignorant, and they believe and they have their own confirmation bias of what they're supposed to be and what their role is in the world, that they don't understand, or they don't want to understand about another race's or another person's point of view. They don't care about that shit.
You on that, man? Break that. What's an example? What you mean?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, man. Let's take it to slavery. I mean, think about it. If you're a white guy in the South, and you're you're a fourth or fifth generation from slavery. I mean, your grandfather was a slaveholder, right? He owned slaves, and he taught you and taught your family certain
things. Look at us at being that, and that's just that.
Right. And then on the flip side, the slaves that were enslaved, their generational tribalism of traditions have been passed down based on the oppression of what the other generation
because slavery was about survival, man. It wasn't about living.
No. I get that, but my point with what Dale's trying to get to, I know what he's trying to say. We all have our own traditions, but it's not aligned in the right way, man. It's white motherfuckers, man, that they think that it's white motherfuckers out here think that slavery should have never stopped. They think that we are inferior. And then on the flip side, we have ignorant black folks that have twofold. We think we're supposed to be slaves mentally, but we also think, that we need to fight.
But there's reason for that. Okay, I'm just saying there's It's tiers to the reasons of how people are going to protest, right?
But it's the system. It's the system too. You know, the system is the platform of how all this shit has come about. So I mean, and look, they'll look. I always say this, man. Knowledge is self, man. You got to know who you are as a person, man, and you also need to know what you know about other folks and respect that.
Yeah, but a lot of this issue of how we got here is because of social injustice and inequality.
Facts.
And because it ain't just because ignorant folks decided that they just gonna be ignorant.
Shit,
like the ignorance.
But what I was getting at though, Nas, was the fact that back to what you said. What do I see? These protests won't be effective unless there's organization and unity and solidarity. Absolutely. Without that, it's not going to work. So you marching down the street with my group of 50 people, but then there's 100 people across the street breaking in businesses, doing dumb shit. It's not going to work.
Yeah, but the reason, but you got to understand the reason why they're actually doing that. Like go ahead, Lo.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lo.
All right. So, after really putting all this piece of the puzzle together of this last 4 or 5 days, 6 days, what have you, my mentality from day one was like, burn this shit down. I don't care. I mean, because we've been marching since Martin. I mean, and we marched Rodney King, and we marched now. Burn this shit down. Everything burned down. Then the other side of me said, okay, well, what's the real play here? We burnt all our shit down. The grocery stores, the little strip malls, people's homes. This was the perfect play for gentrification. We made an easy layup for these people to come down here to the hood because we tried to get us out the hood this whole time to build these damn condos all in the strip now.
That's a bar.
$250,000, $300K. These people can't afford now. And where you gonna go? We've done fucked up. Myself included, because I didn't care. I said, man, when they burned that Precinct 3 down, man, I was ecstatic. Said, hell yeah, keep going. But now what?
Yeah, use your emotions, bro.
Right, but I get the emotions.
Yeah.
We've been stuck in the house. We got how many people out of work? 40 million people out of work.
4 million.
Like, I get this, and again, comes back to no leadership, no organization, no mobilization. People don't know what to do. So even though it's a bad deal, I get it. I mean, I totally get it. But now,
listen,
the ripple effect. We were talking about the COVID ripple effect. The ripple effect from this, on top of the COVID shit, we are screwed. People can't go to the grocery store to provide for their family. Public transportation is shut down to get to work. That even if you have a job, we've done this totally the wrong way. You knock off the Gucci store. Where you gonna wear your Gucci to? Because everything's closed. We have done this the wrong way, and it's like. But the other part was like, I get it because you don't know what else to do. It's like when a child is crying, you don't know why he's crying. He's just hollering because he wants to go to bed, or you don't know what's wrong with him. He's ready to explode. We don't know. I mean, we don't know. We have to provide for your family. The government says stay home. You don't have a job. You see a black man get assassinated. It's like, man, where is the release? Then 2 weeks ago, you see these people. We forgot about Brother Ahmad, who gets gunned down for no reason. Sandra Bland. I mean, it's like people don't know what we can name a million names. People don't know what to do.
Bro, I'm gonna pick up right where you left off. you know, you made a good point, because the whole point that people riot and loot is because they're hurt and they don't have a voice and they don't feel like they're being heard. Like, that's what looting and rioting comes from. And, you know, you actually, that's an outstanding point when you talk about the gentrification and all of that, because it's like all of the stars was aligned, dog. You know what I mean? Because people, and I'm going to bring it back to your original question, Nas, protesting, the looting and everything, I don't agree with it, but I understand it at the same time, because these people are hurting and they want to be heard and nobody is listening to them. So I get it. I completely understand why this is happening. But at the same time, I look at things holistically. I look at the big picture, the grand picture. So at the same time, while I understand why people is doing this, I also know that this is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This isn't going to fix anything. And to know that, you know, I'm trying not to be all over the place, because this is me all day. I've been talking all this shit for the past few episodes about what? About fucking organization. When everybody was saying, hey, other communities or whatever, they ain't necessarily don't have a leader. This is exactly why I was never for us just settling for what happens for our next generation to happen. Because we need to be fucking organized. That's just it. You know what I'm saying? We need some type of leadership. And I don't care. I don't know how that happens or whatever, but we need to be fucking organized, man. Because guess what? It's sad to say, in 2-3 weeks, we're going to move on from George Floyd. Unfortunately. We're going to move on. And it's going to happen again. And one thing that I always try to, a message that I try to spread on this podcast that I stand for, this is the things that I live by. I hate practicing insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different fucking result. And that's all that we doing. I told y'all I've been listening to Pac, man, and Pac broke this shit down so great. Pac said, nigga, I'm 22 years old. Why the fuck are we on the 25th anniversary of a march doing another fucking march? Because we doing the same shit, and the shit just ain't fucking working. And and that's why I'm so frustrated, man. Because I know as Black people, we are so powerful. When we exercise our power on some shit, if we got some niggas in the neighborhood that's 6'7", that's 250 pounds, we protecting him. We trying to get him through the system because we know that he gonna go to the league and he gonna go be big time. That's exercising that power. When we know some motherfuckers up the street that can rap, that can sing, we trying to push them through because we exercising that power. And every time we exercise that power, we dominate whatever the fuck it is that we go to. So it frustrates me so much, because I know if we exercise our power for some righteous shit, we don't have to hear about George Floyd, the brother jogging in Atlanta, the sister that they ran up in the house and killed her. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are we doing, man? We fucking greater than this, man. Right. And that shit is fucking, and I don't know if people just have a hard time understanding that, because I ain't the smartest motherfucker in the world, but that shit is just common sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Niggas just come together and unite on some positive shit, man. We could fix this shit.
And just to, you know, to give shouts to some of the people that, you know, in the last week who definitely, in my opinion, showed that fortitude, you know, Killer Mike and T.I., who, you know, stood up there and you know, pretty much gave, you know, in so many words, told us that, you know, that same thing. Listen, you know, stop burning down. He told you to stop burning down your own home while he was wearing a shirt that said, kill your masters. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to read and understand the totality of what he was saying. But my thing is this, with the things that have, you know, transpired since, you know, since George Floyd's assassination, has been, because things are layered the way that they are, right? We have intellectuals, we got people up there like the Killer Mikes and the people up top who are doing what they can to try to get people mobilized and to think the right way. But you got to also realize that those people who have been the least of us, the people that Pac was talking about, right? They not finna just do no peaceful protests, right? They are the least of us. They're the forgotten. They are the ones who, all of the things, the tricks that they've used to keep us held down, they're the ones who's felt the most pressure. No jobs, the poorest of educations, no fathers around. This is them. And when they spill over, they spilling over not to clap hands and to hold hands. They spilling over to say, fuck you. Give me this TV. Give me these Gucci shorts that I can't ever afford. But I'm going to run up in here and grab 3 of them right now. Because that's all that I have in my life. Absolutely. Do they need to be directed in another way? Yeah, but that's just the bottom of the belly. That's where the rumbles is happening at. Right? There's been peaceful protests. Most of them have been peaceful. I have friends that were in Youngstown, Ohio today, downtown, peaceful protests. An hour after they left, the shit started popping off. You know what I'm saying? It's not that it's not happening. It's just that you can't ignore. Again, it's something that Pac said. At some point, I'm knocking at the door, asking nicely, "Can I have something to eat? Because my stomach is rumbling."
So Naz,
the year he picking the lock.
So Naz, check this out though. Back to Dale's point though. That's what I was talking about, the tribalism concept, right? The white people got their tribe, and they know they got their agenda.
Yep.
They organize.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And when I say white people, we can call Jews, whatever. You put them all in one bucket. Fuck.
Don't matter.
Black people, our tribe is so disorganized within. To everything y'all just said, that's what I'm talking about, that concept.
Yep.
We need organization within our tribe. And right now, it's fractured because of the oppression that we've been through in the past. We tried to fix it. We tried to have leaders that stepped up to the plate. You know, they got assassinated, executing their agenda so we wouldn't be on top. So right now, to fix it, our tribe in particular, I'm not going to speak about nobody else's tribe, but our tribe of being African-American, Black, or just, you know, whatever you classify yourself as being African-American, Black, whatever you classify as, people of color.
African.
What's our agenda, and who's going to organize the agenda? And that ain't one person. You see what I'm saying?
Geno, is there Geno and Jay? I want to throw this over to you. Geno, is there a fixing this? Is there a peaceful way to fix what we're dealing with? I know that's a hard. I don't want you. You can't answer the life's questions tonight. I understand that, but in your mind, seeing what you've seen and what we just talked about, the history of what we've dealt with and how time over time and time we haven't been able to get over that cusp. Is there a way to peacefully sit at the table and this not be happening to us?
I would hope so. You know, I would hope so, but I don't see it. I don't see a peaceful. I don't see an ending to it, peaceful or violent. So, you know, in the side, you know, somebody brought some to my attention about, you know, and this is me listening to the hurt people thing.
Yep.
Right? For many years, without us involved, meaning people of color, you know, white folks have been fighting themselves, right? Overseas, you know, independent countries, you know, they've been fighting themselves. So what's it like to, you know, to fight somebody else, you know, and that looks nothing like them? And what ends up happening when, you know, because I don't want to say no religions, I don't want to say no cultures, I'll just group everybody together, which is probably worse. But, you know, let's just say you come out of there and one of those religions lose in this fight, this oppression, against the larger of the two, right? What ends up happening is that same group that lost is still held higher than we are as black people, right? So what ends up happening is they gotta oppress somebody then. Or this cycle continues to happen because they can't take on Big Brother. They gotta focus on somebody else, and they gotta oppress somebody else. So the fact that they continue to fight within the religion, fight themselves, you know what I mean? We're an afterthought, you know what I mean? And we're, you know, a lot of times, not all times, you know, we're aimed with the misguided repercussions of those things. So, do I see a piece to answer the question? I would hope that we can, but I don't see it. You know, I don't see an ending, regardless if it's positive, non-violent, or violent. I don't see it ending anytime soon, not within my lifetime.
And I mean, I'm kind of echoing G, because it's like I have hope, I have a want, but my aunt texted me and said something interesting. You know, she's in her 60s, and she was like, man, when I was younger, I thought that we wouldn't have to deal. She was like, I've been dealing with this my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm 44. I've been dealing with this my whole life. That's 2 generations.
Fucked up. My daddy almost.
You know 90. What I'm saying? I mean, what King was 30? That was 30 years ago, damn near.
90s.
92.
91. Almost at the 20-year anniversary.
That was the first public thing that we saw. Like, and look, that was almost 30 years ago. And we going through it. We still do. And if you look at the images from that, you could put them next. You could put that in today.
That Time magazine cover.
It's the same thing. So the same training, leadership that was over them cops then has been passed down. One of them cops that was on George Floyd, he was 24 years old, dog. The dude that put his knee on him, he was 44. He was my age.
Hey, Jay.
The Asian dude was 32.
And Jay,
you know what I'm saying? And so real quick, Mean. So my point is, I hope, but I don't have anything to go on to make me believe that it's going to be different. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, and I think what I do believe though, it's going to get worse, man. Next thing, people gonna start shooting these cops, man.
No question. There's no
People
question.
gonna start pulling these cops out their cars, man.
There's no question about that.
That's what's gonna be next, because, like Geno said, hurt people. And when you back people into a corner, they say a squirrel is one of the most dangerous animals if you back it into a corner, man. You back us into a corner, what else are we supposed to do?
That's what I'm saying. You don't think that's justified, though, at this point, Fees?
I do. That's why I'm like, it's ignorant. I wouldn't do it, looting and shit, but what do you want me to do?
Well, Lo, to ask you,
what you expect me to do? Like,
it's understandable, Lo.
So so for those, because I have some.
I got a question after this too. I want to pose y'all.
Some friends that are cops too, and Geno and anybody else who might have friends and family who are officers. Do you feel like a line needs to be drawn? Like, I don't see how a black man can be a police officer after, you know what I'm saying, dealing with this kind of, you know, treachery. Like, at some point it seems like you got to choose between your blue badge of honor and what's real out here, like who you go home to every day, like your family, your friends, your brothers, your uncles. Like at some point, that silence got to go away.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. I got my best friend is a cop in Chicago. I got high school teammates that are cops, law enforcement. I got cats in D.C. that are law enforcement in PG County and D.C. And I mean, I know the integrity of those guys, and I actually feel bad for them because, you know, those guys they hold a high standard to what they do. They're professional, and they understand the people. You understand what I'm saying? And I think one of the issues that we probably need to talk about is that policing ain't really about violence. It ain't about hate. It's about knowing your community too, man. Like
that's it.
I'll give you a great point. Like Lori Lightfoot, and I think she made this mistake. She's pulling cops from different neighborhoods that are not used to violence, and they're young, they're inexperienced, and she bringing them in parts of Chicago that's fucked up. So how in the fuck do they even know how to police animals, right? And I hate to call my young brothers in Chicago animals, but they have been trained to be animals back to my, you know, the generational hatred and what's been taught to them. And they looking at a white cop that's on the north side of Chicago in their neighborhood like, we don't know you. And vice versa, you got a young Caucasian or whatever race he is, cop that's not used to policing these type of guys. You know, they don't know how to build relationships. I mean, you know, I'm gonna be honest. Growing up, not saying all the cops were cool, but all the cops that I knew were cool. They respected our space. You understand what I'm saying? They know what the fuck we was doing. They knew the environments that we came from, and everybody didn't come from a stable background. So a part of being a police officer or a law enforcement professional, you have to understand your environment. You can't go in that motherfucker prejudging and treating people a certain way because you think that's the way to do it. So, right. I mean, that right there is another issue. My second issue is that the cop that had his knee on the brother that just passed away, Floyd, a lot of people don't even know that he had prior altercations with minorities 18. And he had a bad rap.
18.
So my thing is, I mean, not
he actually knew Floyd, which is even worse.
They work together.
They work together.
Now this goes to the organizational point that Dale was talking about, right? You got leadership at the city municipality level, the chief of police and the mayor. If you know you have cops that have racial issues with minorities and they have reputations, why are you allowing these guys to be on the street?
They can't. They shouldn't even.
What are you talking? You talking about the same police force that was created? Again, you can't.
No. Listen. I understand what you're saying, though. But what I'm saying is, people worry about their political and personal gain to the extent that they don't want to address the real issues at hand.
That's it.
Mayors and chief of police, they talk about they should be talking about these issues in their communities, not worried about fucking votes and getting reelected or getting a promotion to governorship or whatever the fuck their aspirations is. If you got 25 to 45 cops on your police force that have fucking issues with race, get these motherfuckers off the street. Get them off the fucking street. Why do you have them on the street?
Yeah.
That's a fucking problem, man. You know what I'm saying?
So Naz, my brother-in-law is a current CPD, Cincinnati Police Department cop. My pops is a retired Cincinnati Police cop. So a lot of this stuff that's been happening in the world, not even Floyd thing, it really is their training. You know, unfortunately, you know, they are shoot to kill. It's just that's what it is. I mean, because at the end of the day, you know, they have to make it home safely. So that's why, like Mean just said, you have these people who want to be inside of their actual community where they can diffuse situations that a black man is in trouble, is looking at a black man officer who can come like, hey young brother, hey, come here for a second. You know, so they can diffuse the situation. My brother, he grew up in Fiji and you know this Avondale, right on Reagan Road. You know, he A1 from day one.
Hotbed.
Yes. So that is his community that he loves, and he always was wanting to make a change. He continues to work in the schools, and the biggest thing was when they his sergeant took him out of his network, out of his neighborhood, and shit with the school system, this program went to shit. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't trust the new cop coming in there because the cop was late.
Speak on it.
So I mean, it's not even like rocket science, you know, like how you do this stuff. But then you put the 24-year-old out there with Floyd. He's just doing something like, again, he sees his other counterparts doing, and he's playing due to the force. He's like, maybe this is what we do. This is what I see on TV anyway. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do. So he don't know what the hell's going on. Had to be a situation with black people, you know. So it's like, I mean, this shit is just so deep, you know what I mean? Because it's mismanaged, and we'll come back to mismanaged again.
Yep.
Organization.
I mean,
these people the police departments aren't even organized.
Right.
The city
I mean, your cops should look like your community.
Man,
that's
big old.
That's just simple as that, man.
Absolutely.
Your cops should look like your community.
Absolutely.
Because of
that was the old saying, walk the beat, right? When you was
so let me ask this question though.
Yep.
Let me ask this question though. One of my other aunts, she said she thinks that it would help or take a white person to help affect change with Black America, because they will listen. They basically will listen to them. That was basically just the first statement. You know, my other cousin, he responded to it and said, white people that actually do want to help and are genuine, they scared or they're embarrassed to come out and say something against their white brothers and sisters. What do y'all think about that?
This the only way in my Dale. Go ahead, Dale. Go ahead, Dale.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
The only way in my mind that there can be a dent in this is if white people talk to themselves. Like, this keep me out of this shit. I don't have a fucking problem. My skin was born dark brown. That's the only issue that I got. And y'all the ones that have an issue with me. So y'all, you know, it's gonna take white people to talk to themselves and parlay themselves on some, why do we have such an issue with this shit? Why do you look at that black man and all of a sudden get scared? I know him. His name is Manasseh, and he's a great guy. What's the problem? Why all of a sudden does he, you know, affect you in such a way that you feel like you need to hurt him or do something bad to him? Because that's what it is. It ain't our issue. It's their issue. Yes, we need to mobilize and do things smarter. We need to get ourselves together as a community, absolutely, and stop spending $65 million on chicken sandwiches and bullshit like that. Absolutely. You know, we need to stop going into these stores and giving them all of our money for Nikes and Jordans and Polo. Absolutely. We need to bring our money back to the black community. I think that's the only way that we really hurt them. Financially, that's the only power we really have. They sucking up our culture. They sucking up, you know, our music, the way that we dress, the way that we act and walk, the way that we look. Take all of that shit away from them. Stop giving them the opportunity to make a mint off of our back still.
Can I jump in real fast?
Absolutely, man.
So they need us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They need us, you know. They need somebody to copy. They need somebody for work. They need somebody to be scared of them.
Preach.
They need a lot of things from us. No, all of us aren't copyable, aren't scared of them. look up to them. But, they need it. Today is the 99th year anniversary of the Tulsa situation. Y'all realize that? Today is 99 years to the day. Now, I say
Black
that to
Wall
say
Street.
just Black Wall Street. Coming off that, what you just said, Nas. So what ends up happening if we pull away from them, don't bend the knee, for everybody to understand that term, Game of Thrones and all that, what end up happening is if we mobilize and created our own society, they're going to come burn that shit down. Today, 99 years to the day of the Black Wall Street situation only tells us that. So,
yeah. And that for me, and I'm glad you said that. And Dale, again, I'll jump right over to you after this. Is that I appreciate the hope, and I don't want to be a pessimist. I don't. But what I've been shown in the 44 years that I've been on this earth is that anytime us as Black people gaining ground on understanding our true power and position in life, they will murder and destroy everything that we have. We had our own banks. Yep. We had our own lawyers. We had our own school system. We had our own money coming through, and they burned it to the fucking ground. Then we rebound from that. And then we said, we got a Martin Luther King that came around, and then we got a Malcolm that came around at the same time. They shot them cats dead, broad daylight, right? And then when we thought that, then we thought that Obama was going to be the savior. For some reason, we thought that once President Obama became president, life was going to change for Black people, right? Isn't that wasn't you remember the emotion that we got when this dude made presidency, and all over the world, old Black people was hanging his picture up like Jesus in the house, because we finally thought that we was going to be equal. Finally, now they see us. They could see us. Look at this smart, intelligent, charismatic Black man. That this is who we are as a people. This is our representative.
They didn't understand the post.
But to answer Jay's question though, would it take a white person to do it? I don't know. I mean, you got to think the white guy. I mean, you got to think if you just say you got a white guy of integrity, right? And I'm not saying that doesn't exist. They do probably got some, but again, he had to go back to his community, and he's viewed even more worse for trying to unify with us and love us.
Yep.
Than anything.
That's why I said the embarrassment.
Dale, you can go right into it.
Give me some thoughts.
I'm trying not to be all over the place. I swear to God, I'm not. But I'm gonna speak to what G said earlier about Black Wall Street. I don't know how much I believe that it will for a fact be taken away from us if we built our own. Because what people fail to realize, segregation was the worst thing that could happen to or not segregate, but desegregation was the worst thing that could happen to Black people. And the reason that I say that, we only know about Tulsa, the Black Wall Street being burned down. I listen to Dr. Claude Anderson a lot, and he talks about how in North Carolina, the Blacks had their own program set up. They had their own businesses. And I think he said one of his family or whoever had their own bus line, you know what I'm saying, that just drove Black people back and forth to where they wanted to go. And once we wanted to be integrated, that's what I meant to say, integration. When we was seeking to integrate with the white people and the laws got passed and we was able to ride on the buses with the white people, even though we had to go in the fucking back of the bus, the brothers with the bus system in North Carolina, they shit went down. So they didn't necessarily take it from us. And I think this all kind of ties into Mean's point about the whole tribalism thing, because we believe that, and I think this is a generational curse, we believe that if we have our own, that they're going to take it away from us. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. You know what I'm saying? Like if we had our own shit, you know what I'm saying? Like in 2020, 30, whatever, I can't see motherfuckers coming and taking our shit like that. Not if we do it right. Not if we do it right. And to answer your question, Jay, I see what Auntie is trying to say, because I feel like if Obama had done more stuff for black people, it would have been an indictment on him, like he's being biased and whatnot. So it makes more sense for a white person to do it. But overall, the problem is that when we're talking about policies and regulations and laws and shit getting passed, none of that's going to happen unless we get in positions of power, period.
Facts.
You know until we get in positions of power, and this is what I back supporting my points in the past. If we put these resources that we have, we put millions, billions of dollars or whatever, but behind an actual cause.
So Dale, when you say positions of power,
else, then we can get some shit passed.
So Dale, when you say positions of power, what do you mean specifically? Be specific. What you mean?
Let's get okay. So we get in positions of power. I give you an example. I tell this to my wife all the time. Gay people are getting married. Okay, gay people are getting married, and that isn't by coincidence. That's by design. They got organized. They had people in positions of power. They got money behind them, and they championed their agendas.
Hold on.
Glad you transition to that because I want to.
Let me say one thing real quick, G. Let me say one thing, G.
What?
And you know what that is? We talk about vote.
Talk to
but hold on now. We never say after we vote. After we vote, are we activating something else?
Thank you.
That's the problem.
That's the fucking problem. And that's what I mean by being in position, because we're doing it. And me and Nas talk about this all the time. The whole voting process is broken. You know what I'm saying? Stop telling people just go vote. Fuck, just go out and vote, man. Go out and vote and play the shit right. You know what I'm saying? Go demand something for your vote. And the way that you demand something for your vote is when you got some motherfucking power. And when you got money behind somebody, then they're going to start respecting your shit. Because right now, Obama couldn't do nothing for us. If he was going to do something for us, for black people, I'm sorry, but he had millionaires and shit in front of us that he had to satisfy before he even got to us. So that's my overall point, dog. Like we got to get in position of power, and that's what I feel like the solution is. And I hope we can get to that on this episode too. We talk about some solutions. That's what my solution is in all of this shit, is trying to get organized, get in position, and play this game the way that everybody else has been playing. Because we're
going to finish off with that too, Dale. We are going to finish off with what we can do.
Go ahead, G.
Go ahead, G.
Well, I'm going to challenge. I'm going to bring up an unpopular opinion. You know what I mean? How I view shit is a lot of stuff we do to ourselves, we damage it. You know what I mean? I'm going to go there. Because what ends up happening is, you brought up the LGBT community, right?
Yeah.
Times as y'all call, you know what I'm saying, not y'all in particular, we hated on them. You know what I'm saying? How many times have we said something wrong about them, right? But then we marginalized as a black people. If we taught to love anybody, right? Now the spotlight is on us. It's the same kind of shit that be happening to them in smaller increments. They got their own fight. I'm talking about any group, but I'll just put it out there. How many times, saying something is been able to make us uncomfortable? You know what I mean? Like, so the point is, if we're the minority, right? If you're walking down the street and you expect somebody, let's just say, my son. Y'all love my son because y'all love me. I ain't there. I would hope, not just because he's my son, because y'all know that ain't right, that y'all will stop somebody or step in for somebody busting his head, right? But the point is, how can we really do that or ask that when we ain't willing to say or step up and support those that ain't got, they're the minority in a situation like the LGBTQ?
I think you go back to the comment earlier that the hurt people, right? And so
that's why that's what I'm saying. I was just dropping a nugget. You see what I mean? I mean that's. I feel like hold on. I got one more other point to it. You know, when y'all hear me say anything, you know what I'm saying? It's about dangerous rhetoric. It's about dangerous points that motherfuckers buy into or say or drop, but not really truly understanding how it's also affecting us, right? Because if we're supposed to love one mankind and treat everybody the same, or want us to see us with the same respect, because you don't fuck with a dude or your homegirl don't fuck with a girl, right? But it's easy to beat up on somebody, you know what I mean? Because they ain't got as many soldiers as you. And I think that's what happens to us. So I just say that to say, you know, be more aware of all the other shit, the smaller microisms of the community that's having their troubles and having prejudice against them as well. That's my point. If we gonna view and want the same respect from the white man, then we gotta view and respect the same shit from the other man for other mankind. In general, and I'm talking about in all pockets. I'm just using the gay community in this one. That's what I'm saying.
So let me ask you guys this then: where do we go from here? Where you know, this again? We keep talking about how this just feels like, you know, Groundhog Day all over again. You know, we're young, but again, like my dad will be 90 this year, and he was going to be down at a protest earlier today in Youngstown, and he's 90 years old. He's done this for 80 years.
I love it.
He's been protesting for 80 years, you know. And so where do we go from here, bro? Crazy. Like we talking about mobilizing, we're talking about trying to get ourselves together. What is the end game? How do we move past being, because this is my thing. I don't know how we stop people from wanting to assassinate us due to our skin. It's not because of something we've done. It's because of the way that we look. And I don't know how we're going to stop them from trying to kill us and kill our ideas because of that. And so where do we move? What's the mobilization effort? What is the next step? I know that I can start. I feel like I need to get engaged with an activism organization or group, just so I can start being more aware of when things are happening and how things are happening.
We need to start being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Mean said it a couple of casts ago. We don't have nobody that's willing to sacrifice themselves for the cause. Everybody wants to do it in the cushiness and comfortability of their own lives and their own homes without being interrupted with their lives. They want to be able to go on with their lives. No, all the people that have been leaders in the past, they have been uncomfortable. They've given up everything. Some of them have died. They've given up money.
But that's the issue, though. Jay, that's the issue.
No one wants to do that.
Because, listen, but they did that, and then where are we at? Martin, Malcolm, all of these people gave their life, my brother. Like, everybody gave their life, and we are still
listen, because what I'm saying is,
hold on, wait a minute.
Let me finish. Because they were one person, okay? Nobody else followed that suit.
That's not true. It was a movement. There was people marching every day with Malcolm and Martin. They weren't the only ones out there by themselves.
Nas, hold on now. But what Jay is talking about is that Malcolm and Martin weren't on the same page. They had two different movements, and they go back to defining and setting an agenda for our tribe. We got to have one agenda.
So what is it? What's the agenda then?
One agenda, bruh.
What is it?
It's so simple. Hold on. This is so simple. Your initial question is, I'm saying, how do we get there? Right. What do we do, Nas? Dale, can you show a better shot of your shirt, man?
Of course.
Yeah, I would appreciate it. I mean, that's how we get there. We own our own.
That's one tenet to the agenda. That's one. I agree, Lo. That's one. That's huge. That's one.
But and I'm gonna speak to Naz's point because I feel like the solution that I have is conceptual. The solution is organizing and getting together and changing laws and shit. That's the only way that it's gonna happen. Now that the concept is simple. How do the details and how do we get there? I don't know.
And to Jay's point, is sacrifice, right? Now we talked about Obama, right?
Hold on, man. I hate to cut you off because it was something else that Jay said that we talked about a couple episodes ago about not having leaders and shit now. We do have leaders now, and I forgot to mention this on the last cast. We have leaders now, but we don't respect them, and we don't have enough people backing them. Farrakhan, he's a leader. Boyce Watkins, he's a leader. Jay Morrison, these are guys who out here who have like real movements to empower Black people, and
we do have leaders.
They just don't have. They not on Instagram with money phones and shit, or with cars
the
and whatever.
Agendas are not aligned up though. That's the thing.
Yeah, and yeah,
they have their own following.
They have their own. I mean, some of the guys that I follow, they are together to a degree, but overall, we don't have one collective movement. No,
right.
Well, I was gonna say back to, and I don't want to make this about Obama, but Nash, you talked about how we viewed Obama as a savior, but we were ignorant to the fact that we didn't view Obama as a politician first. Exactly. I had a very spirited conversation in my favorite watering hole, which I probably won't ever go back to again. Stan's Restaurant Lounge. Shout out to Stan's.
Stan's done.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of business is gonna be done, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But my point is this. I mean, I come from a city that is blue. It's bulldog blue. We all Dems. We love liberal ideas, views, and everything. And Obama, he, in some aspects, he represented that, and he took that shit all the way to the White House. But we were ignorant to the fact that we were viewing Obama as the Black leader that was going to take us over the top. But we never looked at the game, right? Because Obama, if you look at him, he is Black, but he's also white. You got to look at that. Obama he represented two colors, two races. His mom, if I'm not mistaken, was white. His dad was Black. So when he gets into office, yeah, he may had aspirations to do all this shit and help us, and we had aspirations for him to do everything. But the realistic component of everything about what Obama represented was it shocked white people into believing like, God damn it, they got in. We can't allow that to happen again. But while he was in office, they set their agenda to make sure that he couldn't do those things, right? So he had to make some critical decisions on what he was going to try or attempt to do and help us as a people. And again, Obama's agenda, a lot of people get this confused. It wasn't about us completely. Obama was being a politician because he was trying to unite everybody. You understand what I'm saying? He wasn't perfect. And again, he made decisions that we didn't even agree with. You see what I'm saying? But again, we have to look at the realism of the system and how it's played. Yeah, we can own a lot of things, but again, and I read this shit about how the Republican Party, I think somebody put on our group chat, how Republicans fall in line. Lindsey Graham, Moscow Mitch, these niggas, they may not like Trump, but they falling in line. They trying to get the judicial system to their advantage. So even if Joe Biden or whoever we get in as a savior, I ain't gonna even say Joe Biden is the savior. it may take another rotation of presidents to get somebody in there that we finally can represent us and represent everybody. But these motherfucking GOP
they have
Republicans,
the same interests.
These motherfuckers are like,
them.
look, I may not like this motherfucker, but we gonna change this judicial system because we're not gonna allow the other tribe to prosper. That's what I was talking about earlier with tribalism, man. They may not like their leader right now, but them motherfuckers fall in line and they don't give a fuck. And they don't care if they lose them Senate seats because
over everything.
But that's because
let me finish.
They're willing to do whatever it takes.
Listen. The damage they've done and they continue to do is going to affect us, and we're going to have this same situation 20 years from now. And we're going to have a judge up there sitting, and we're going to hope that he's going to make the right choice. But these motherfuckers have already set in motion, and they thinking long game. They're not thinking about present. They thinking about long game. You understand? So back to the overall agenda. Back to the overall agenda comment, Dale. That needs to be a part of our agenda. We need to start thinking long game. Ownership is a component of that.
Hell yeah.
Gaining political office is a component of that. You understand what I'm saying? We ain't thinking like that.
When I say ownership isn't gonna get us out of everything, but I feel like the basis of our problems is ownership. If you have ownership, you will value what the fuck you own, and then everything else is gonna start making sense. Everything is gonna be like a ripple effect.
And look, that voting thing you talked about earlier, these judges that are putting in these states, when we bring up the gerrymandering and redistricting of our voting process, which is already fucked up, these GOP motherfuckers have already set in motion that they're going to have the advantage when it comes to that. So the solution to your question, Naz, is how do we tackle that in our agenda? We need to list out what we need to tackle first. And then, like Dale said, we need to start to acquire things so we can have a position at the table to do that.
And see, and this is where I got so passionate about the voting, because I'm not saying that loosely or generally. When I say voting, I mean research, because the thing is, when people think voting, they automatically go to the president. No, I'm talking about your local shit. Because those people, those council people, those state representatives, those state senators, that's the shit that Mean was just talking about. You got to cripple that from that level so they don't even get to be in the power, because like he said, it's a long game for them. It's a marathon. They thinking long term. You know what I'm saying? And that's why voting is important, you know, but it starts locally. But most people don't. I know a lot of people that don't even vote locally. They only vote every 4 years. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late.
Look, look, I'm telling you, and you can quote me on this. Governorship in these states is important, dog. Yeah. These governors set the agenda, dog. Trust me. When we sitting here counting electoral votes and shit, and we sitting here like, damn, how did North and South Dakota get all them electoral votes? Because they got motherfuckers that sit in these courts aligning these districts, and they got people in those districts that are on the agenda for the long game. Because they like, long as we can hold them Senate seats, long as we can hold that governor's house, we can give a fuck about who get elected president.
Right.
Because that shit don't matter when it comes to the individual states, bro. Trust me.
And when we sit here talking about Brother Floyd, you know, people don't realize we vote on the prosecutor. We vote on like the people. I mean,
big old facts, Lo.
like these cops could be in jail right now. We have the right people in our city in office. So yeah, man, it's just wild, man.
Long game. So that's a solution. We need to focus on the long game. Stop focusing on the present. The present is what it is. Current state we can't fix right now.
And guess what? If we get organized and we have our shit together, not only will we be focusing on voting on prosecutors and shit like Lo said, but our own people could be running for fucking prosecutor.
Facts.
And that's what I'm saying about research. Finding out who in your community is a part of the agenda and your interests that you see. and then you grab somebody else, and y'all get together, and you get that person in that position, and you back them financially, with time, resources, money, all of that. Then you get them in position, and you get behind them.
That's what equity, Feezy, is huge. You sit out there campaigning for somebody, they'll find the money. They just go on social media, whatever you got to do, emails or text message.
Yep. Nas, I don't want to take away from your hosting joint. I want to make one last point, man. I got a chance to meet brother Justin Fairfax, right? Last year I threw a CBC event. Shout out to Justin Fairfax. Hey man,
Virginia dude, right?
This is he a bro. He went to Duke. So look,
I know he's a bro. Damn.
He's the lieutenant governor of Virginia. He falls right under Governor Northam, the guy that got caught up with the blackface shit, right?
Yeah.
Y'all don't understand that storyline was so important for the state of Virginia because Northam, I mean, to his credit, he should have been out of office, and we would have had a black governor in the state of Virginia. Damn. But the GOP and their pundits.
Hello.
So bad, they went back to Duke and found all them broads.
Oh, that's why he got in trouble.
Yeah, and they found out that supposedly, allegedly, that he had affairs and all this crazy shit, and they destroyed his credibility. I mean, he's still lieutenant governor now, but that's the game they play. That's a perfect example. They said, "Oh no, we're not going to allow that." No.
G, you look like you was about to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to talk. I mean, I was going to transition into the other monster that we haven't mentioned during this whole time, and that's the coronavirus, right? I mean, let's talk. Let's bring it back to these these riots and these peaceful protests, right? So my Sans called me and he gave me the information about the choir, how one guy affected 54 people in the choir. Y'all heard about that?
Yeah.
And one of the things he said, when he broke it down to me, he was saying that when you're in close proximity and you're screaming or singing to the top of your lungs, you're spitting out and receiving particles inside that same mouth that you're singing with. He brought it to my attention that look at those peaceful protests. 40% of them ain't got no mask on. They all screaming, "I can't breathe, hands up, don't shoot." Yo, these cases about to rise just for trying to go out there to peaceful protest. We didn't even think about that.
I mean, I mentioned it, a couple days ago, just saying like if the numbers don't increase, I mean, we got to see a jump in the numbers, right? I mean, We've had people in major cities, thousands and thousands of people gathered in major cities, not, social distancing and not wearing masks. There's no way that these numbers should not jump exponentially higher and be a serious threat to what's going on. Either that or there's a real issue going on for real.
Hey, Nas, I'm here for this conversation. So let's take it to South Africa, right? Let's take it to the mother Africa, Republic of Congo, and how viruses like Ebola and HIV and AIDS and shit have decimated our people, right? This throw the conspiracy out there, G, because you hit it right on the head. I'm not saying that, Floyd was purposely killed. However, what better way to engineer genocide and to get black people out here riled up and not thinking about covering their faces and social distancing and getting their emotions so riled up that, again, it's like on Don't Be a Menace. The white dude coming to the grocery store, he got the list. He like, coronavirus black people, got them. They good. So now this shit about to spread like wildfire in the targeted group and we're not going to say coronavirus was targeted towards us. We don't have the information to support that. However, for all you conspiracy theorists out there, think about it, right? What way to get them it's perfect. I mean, look, I watched TV yesterday, man. Majority of us was out there, man, like Geno said, tripping. No mask. They just out here, right? Not even thinking about, hey, man, there's a pandemic going on, bro. What better ways to take us out without thinking, man? And that's our biggest issue, man. We don't think.
America right now looks like every other third world country right around voting time, right around the time of election.
Facts.
Look at these other countries, they always in war right around election time.
Uprise every time.
Uprise. It'd be like, folks be bombing. Folks got to they dodging bullets to get to the damn election polls. And that's the way we look right now, heading into this election going in.
What was that? Venezuela last year, when that shit went dumb, for right around election. So, wow. Man, you know what, man? Some Papa Master. Somebody sit back. I heard this guy named, what's his fat cat name? White guy. George. Who's the guy that say who's fronting the money for a teeny? What's it called? What's that? The leftist, the white leftist, FIDA.
Oh yeah, you talking about the what they're calling the AFTA? Yeah, it's like a radical left group that's out here engineering all these campaigns and shit.
Exactly. And they say I'm gonna look at the guy's name. They're saying this is one man behind it all. Who's basically sitting back playing puppet master. He's funding everything, putting these ploys in place, and it's just starting to make a little more sense to me now. I'm about to
hey, Nas, I hope you had this in your transition. So the I guess the social media aspect of all this, right? Information warfare, right? Cambridge Analytica, the Twitter, Facebook component. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these these uprisings, right? They're being organized on social media. You see what I'm saying? These platforms right now are getting these motherfuckers fired up. Look, if I'm a cyber activist right now, and look, I'm pro whatever, and I want to target a specific group, I mean, look, Mark Zuckerberg already told you what his position was.
Right.
Thank you, Lo, for the information earlier this week. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. Mark Zuckerberg, you already know where he stand. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Twitter CEO. Hey, the take on the bully. But I'm just saying, man, these social media platforms are 90% of the reason why these people are out here going crazy. And they not thinking. You see what I'm saying? They so fired up. And nobody's saying you don't have a right to be fired up. But let's do it logically correct, man. Like, come on, man, put your mask on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tripping.
Yes. So I was talking about it's Antifa.
Antifa, yes.
Yeah. Are y'all familiar with them?
Yeah, I heard of that.
So Antifa, and who fronts the money for Antifa supposedly is a guy named George Soros.
Mm-hmm.
This guy named George Soros, he's supposed to be like the puppet master behind all this shit. So I mean, we gotta get a second, man. Look this shit up, man. Hey, as they say, shit deeper than rap, man. I mean, and we just pawns. We just been.
I'm gonna tell y'all, man. Cell therapy, Goody Mob. Right.
Well, and again, man, that's the only reason that I want to bring. I just want to kind of round back with this idea of what the hope is, because we can get it. I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist like the next person, and I've heard things and read things and watched things that made me question a lot. You know what I'm saying? But who knows what the truth is, right? But with all that being said, like, a lot of you guys said that there's hope. You got hope that things will be better. But based off of what you've seen, like, is there going to be better? Or is it this kind of stacked deck that we just keep running up against? Jay said something about, people not being willing to sacrifice fully to the plan. And I agree that there's a lack of folks willing to sacrifice. But I mean, we've sacrificed a whole hell of a lot up to this point. People have lost their lives fighting for this very thing that we are still at the cusp of. We're still at this crossroads of Black lives don't matter. And so for me, it's just like, how do we move on from here? I want people to not, be pessimistic, and I want us to have some type of hope. I do want us to be able to be prepared, mobilized, and awake, and watching and listening, and making sure that we making moves that are going to benefit us in our community. I want us to do those things. Those things have to be done. I'm with you, Dale, and me, all of you guys, on as far as mobilizing and getting ourselves in a position to be successful. And so I just want us to make sure that we kind of pushing that forward with each other, as well as, pushing that message forward with, our communities. Like I have to get more involved somehow. I don't, I'm comfortable. I told one of my homeboys, I said, he was like, man, what are we supposed to do? I said, shit, I ain't gonna do nothing. And I ain't gonna lie, like I ain't going to protest. I'm just being honest with you. Like if I didn't have children, if I wasn't in my circumstance, I probably would. But being that I'm in the situation I am, I'm not going to protest. I'm not going to do
thing, Sans.
I'm not going to put myself in harm's way so that I'm not here for my children in that sense. If I thought that I could put my life on the line today to stop this bullshit for real, nigga, don't think for 1 minute that I wouldn't do that shit.
Right.
I would give my life if it meant like after today, this shit wouldn't be going on no more. But come on, bro. Like black people have been giving up their lives for hundreds of years. I can't ask somebody else to give their life for this shit unless it means tearing this shit down. The system has to be torn down and rebuilt for us. And I don't mean burning down the society. I'm saying, like y'all said, policy, the Constitution got to start over, right? Like they made that white men wearing white wigs, talking about each other and shit. We wasn't even a part of that. We got to destroy that shit. Like Geno said, we got the LGBTQ community. All of that shit was not even thought about back then. We all are addendums and modifications to something that was made for them. And the only way that we're going to be able to move forward is to destroy that fucking document and make that shit for the people that actually live in this fucking country right now.
Man, we was property, man.
90% of the people that's here now wasn't here back then. And they made it specifically for them.
Hey, Lo,
you got to take that shit, tear it up, and make a constitution that's going to affect all of us. And that's the only way we're going to move forward.
Hey, Lo, you're going to love this statement. We need to take the chessboard. Take the chessboard, take our L, because I was on the chess team. I don't know if y'all grew up playing chess. Take the chessboard, reevaluate how you lost, put them pieces back on the board, and learn from your mistakes, man. Reset the chessboard. Let's make the moves so we can get checkmate. Because right now, we losing the chess game out here, bruh. Trust me. For all y'all that play chess is a game for a reason.
Because
I
don't want Jackson to have his own podcast when he gets my age, having this same fucking conversation. He's two. He has no clue what's going on right now. I don't want him to be calling me up when I'm retired and old, like, hey, Dad, they're protesting. They're marching down Livingston Avenue. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Another march? And the thing is, they know that. The opposition knows that. They know, like, all they're going to do is march. This will die down in 2 weeks. This will die down.
No. Let me ask y'all something. Do y'all think that white people believe that we have the same views, like on freedom, as they do?
They can't.
Nah, I mean,
I know that we believe that. You on mute, Nas.
We can't have the same views. There's no way that we can be thinking the same way.
I mean, because I mean, this whole illusion, I feel like all of this shit should just kind of dilute this whole illusion of freedom. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the same. Freedom between white people and black people is night and day. I would say, Dale, with this,
everyone seeing that video, I think they have a better understanding of our plight. I've never seen so many mixed protests before. I've never seen so many Caucasians, signs and, demonstrations. I think now they're like, whoa.
I hear that. And I agree with you because this is the first time I've ever seen white people backing black people like they are.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this. That shit don't mean nothing if it goes away in a couple of weeks.
Agreed. I mean, like, everything. We already said it's going to be the easy button going to get hit and back to normal. You know what I'm saying? And like, unfortunately, that's life. But that again, that's why we got to figure out to get organized, get in these political shortcomings of these little elections, and so get the bigger picture.
And that's why I get frustrated. And this is my last piece, and I'm done. That's why I get frustrated. We all sports fans on here. I listen to a ton of talk radio, and you hear them talking about, oh, we just need to get back. No, fuck getting back. Fuck getting back. Because that means all you're doing, that's another word of saying, oh, let's just act like, let's just close the door. Just put them in the other room, you know what I'm saying? And just give them some juice pouches and put on a movie and everything will be good. No. Yeah. No. And I would like to see, and I'm an avid sports fan. That shit runs our society. I would love to see some sports people be like, you know what? Fuck that. Fuck that season. I'm not playing. I'm not playing at all until some shit is fucking done. And this is what we're going to do.
And all of this.
Ain't no getting back. You know what I'm saying?
All of this Kaepernick wasn't even brought up. Yeah. For real. For real.
Right. And you got punk-ass Mike Pence talking about that bullshit he was talking about, and you left a fucking Colts game because people was standing for this very same shit. Get your punk ass out of here.
And I can't. I'll be remiss, man. If I don't know. I just feel some kind of way about white people, man. And this like you assassinated Colin Kaepernick for this. Like you assassinated this dude. You assassinated his character. You took away his liability, his ability to live, his job. You took away all of that shit because you swear that we overreacting and we just doing too much. But the knee is literally down on the man's neck and took his life away. It's the very reason he was doing it.
Hey, we played our part in that too, though.
Yep.
I hate to say it.
Sure did. Thank you for saying that, cuz. Thank you for saying it. It was a joke. It was being muted. It was like, you know what I mean? People had something to say. Like, yo, that man was out there doing what he was doing. And it was people that looked just like us had the same ignorant shit to shut them down.
Hey, and look, you know, it is another point. Like, you know, we talking about resetting the system. We all went to a historically black university, right? Those universities gave us the pride and the confidence to do what we're doing today in our own professions, right? And we talked about how white people got the agenda and how they see the long game. You know, black college basketball used to be the greatest shit ever. And I'm not saying white people had an agenda to pull us away from that, but if you look at NCAA and how they reformed basketball as a whole, you ever wonder why some of the greatest basketball players of all time, like, and I mean, it's no shot against them because, I mean, they made their choice for them. But like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all these guys, they never went to HBCUs, you know, during the time of civil rights and what we're going through right now.
Wasn't by chance. That wasn't by chance.
No. But you got to look at the documentary Black Magic. I mean, we had some of the greatest basketball coaches, greatest basketball players of all time, and some of these white universities seen that shit like, whoa.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, my bad. I want to try and disagree with you.
What I'm saying.
That's just fucked up. You see what I'm saying? And they diluted our prize jewels.
What they do,
right?
Not just in basketball.
Right. They do it with everything. That's my point.
They take our. You remember when they laughed about hip hop, nigga, back in the 80s? Yeah, they said that this shit was a fad. Now you can't hear a goddamn commercial without some fucking hip hop on it. You can't see even a campaign without hip hop being influenced in it. They take our culture. They take whatever they want. They will rape you and pillage you for whatever you got.
Facts. And throw you in the trash.
And that's my issue, is that it's hard to come back against that shit with some peaceful shit when they willing to do whatever it takes. They willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want. To get y'all talking about leveraging yourselves. What are you willing to do to leverage yourself? You willing to kill somebody to leverage yourself? Because they willing to kill somebody to leverage themselves. They willing to throw somebody in the lake to make sure that they get that spot so that everybody quiet. They willing to do whatever it takes. And until we willing to do whatever it takes, how do we outman that? How do we outmaneuver that when you're willing to kill and we not willing to kill? We trying to be peaceful.
Hey, look, in closure, reset the chessboard. Let's learn from our mistakes.
Man,
let's make the right moves.
Man, listen, I apologize for the tangents. I apologize for the animation, but you know, this week just hit different for everybody. And like G said, we're in the middle of a pandemic and we're in the middle of civil unrest. It's got us in all over the place. My thoughts are all over the place. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to think. I don't know what's next. I don't know where to go from here. But I do know that without y'all, without this PCP group, man, honestly, man, this has just been therapy for me to be able to get these thoughts out, to get my emotions out, and to have like-minded brothers to be able to share it with. And then to have also people who are willing to listen and ride with us a little bit on this journey that we've been on. So I thank all of our listeners, the PCP listeners, again, all of our cast. This is, perilous times, but we're going to hold each other up. We're going to keep doing what we can for each other and our communities. The things that we can control, we're going to try to control. And the things that we can't, there's nothing you can do about those things. But I appreciate everybody for listening. PCP is come on and make sure that you check us out on all of the platforms. Like us, make sure that you comment, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure that you check back in with us. We appreciate you.
Peace and love, man.
Stay safe.